must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Today, thousands and thousands of Africans and many countries in Africa have conflicts. Notably, from Libya, Cameroon, Nigeria, Biafra, and Boko Haram, to Democratic Republic of Congo, of where we have seen a resurgence of the past military and conflicts coming back in that country. Hundreds and hundreds of people have been displaced, killed, maimed, tortured, raped, several of them dying of hunger, starvation, and other natural causes. The fighting seems not to be ending. For the sake of Libya, the Libyan recognized international government is under siege in Tripoli from another faction recognized by Egypt, France, UAE, and other countries. Whereas the one in Tripoli is recognized by the UN, it has been bombarded, has been strangulated, and many millions of Libyans are dying of hunger, lack of water. The water system has been cut off. The bombardment goes on. In Democratic Republic of Congo, we've seen more of active rebel activities returning to the region after some silence has been observed. When we come to Cameroon, we see millions and millions of Amazonians slaughtered. Yet, when you come to Biafra, again millions and hundreds of millions and millions are worried, displaced, tortured by the Buhari regime. Yet again in the north, we see Boko Haram killing, maiming, abducting, and burning down villages in the same Nigeria. When you cross over to Central African Republic, the same is the history that has littered Africa. While all these events are taking shape, Africa is silent. Africa is not making enough efforts to find a solution to what is causing the problems in Libya, in DRC, in Cameroon, in Nigeria, Biafra, and now you add in Khartoum, Sudan. As people die, the people of Africa have no answers, have no solutions. There is nothing to bring an end to the conflicts that have killed Africa. We seem to be new ones manufactured, old ones reignited, encouragement coming from external powers. One power that has been seen in the shadows of all these conflicts, especially the one of Libya that has escalated in the Sahara region of Africa, is France. When you come to Democratic Republic of Congo, the same country is in the shadows. The war can be seen is France. When you come to Cameroon, in Amazonia, the one behind that has the key to bringing peace is France. Therefore, our question as Africans, why are we silent? Why are we not saying enough is enough of the wars? Thank you.
Way back in 1998, the late Secretary General of the United Nations by name Kofi Annan thought of an idea, brought an idea of saying the only way to bring world order where crimes committed that are not punishable in local courts, local countries, regional courts could be taken to an international crimes court. The Rome Statute and Rome Treaty of 1998 July was an offspring of already cooked DSGE intelligence system mechanism to keep Africa under check. Up to date, the French government pays 70% of the salaries of the International Criminal Court, from the porter to the judge, to the prosecutor, and the rest of the other people. This was a project of Kofi Annan and the Kofi Annan Foundation, followed by George Soros as an accomplice of Kofi Annan, brought in by Luis Moreno Campo and the entire system of the West, some countries in the West, to keep check on African countries that did not agree with the policies of the French and to their policies of Western culture. The International Criminal Court Chief Prosecutor Luis Moreno Campo agreed in all this that yes, he has been picking money, extra monies, and we followed the story together with my group in France, powerful investigators in France who worked together with me, and we found out that, truly speaking, Luis Moreno Campo, Fernandez Gumedi, the former judge, the president of the International Criminal Court, laundered the money, some coming from American banks themselves. This evidence was put in the ICC. In the case of Bashir versus the chief prosecutor, I filed an application which I still have and which I'm going to publicize again so that people can know that I was right. I've been vindicated because the American friends now have found that my credibility is real, that I was right when I stood up to say this court is corrupt. This court launders money, $17 million of United States money, laundered through Bahamas, through New York banks, back to Ocampo's personal assistant, by then called Fernandez Gumedi Silvia, who later on rose to the ranks of becoming the president of International Criminal Court. It has taken us time, energy, effort, resources to investigate the corruption scandal that have rocked the International Criminal Court. Why should African countries continue to be in the ICC, yet even the superpowers like America saying no, we have enough courts to try our own people. Viewers, it has taken Americans over 20 years to listen to our voices when we told Rainberger in Nairobi that this court is a corrupt court.
Today, on the eve of September the 11th, I want to deliver a clear and unambiguous message on behalf of the President of the United States. The United States will use any means necessary to protect our citizens and those of our allies from unjust prosecution by this illegitimate court. We will not cooperate with the ICC. We will provide no assistance to the ICC, and we certainly will not join the ICC. We will let the ICC die on its own. After all, for all intents and purposes, the ICC is already dead to us.
A case of the Kenyan people. These cases in Kenya, the chief prosecutor called Fatou Bensouda put serious statements at the end of the cases, discharge and termination. In legal language, these cases pose a very serious threat in the future. What the people of Kenya can do, and they should do, is today to wrap up the work envelope. Because until this envelope is sealed, thrown in Indian Ocean, the chief prosecutor in the future will come and look for that envelope, use it to incriminate people again. It brings me back to the situation. America is sealing its journey out of the ICC. Why do you wait? Why don't you take this opportunity to seal your journeys out of the ICC? America is quitting, warning that it cannot no longer be a party to such an obnoxious court, a court that has no powers, that talks from this side and vomits from the other side, a court that cuts and pastes evidence, a court that buys witnesses, a court that incites incentives, gives incentives to witnesses of a passport and a relocation, then you tell lies about people. A court that sentences you as per the words there. Why should you leave a country that has a jury that checks on what the judges would do, the excesses of judges, and go to a country, a court that has no jury? Time has come for Africa to think. Do we need this court? Does Africa need this court?
We were way ahead of them in our civilization. They set out to destroy us. And Berlin Conference put the nail on that coffin. So they gave Djibouti the same sovereignty as the United States. They gave Burundi the same sovereignty as China. They gave Togo. You see, the EU realizes individual little countries, they can't survive on the world stage. So they come together as the European Union. Now picture this now. So they cut up this Africa into the tiny little countries, small economies that could never survive on their own, but gave them the same sovereignty as the big boys. So that way, when the little bitty countries go to the world stage for the purposes of development and discussing trade, they're wannabe boxers who are being thrown into the heavyweight boxing ring every day. How do you put China in the same boxing ring with Eswatini? Eswatini has 1.2 million people. China has 1.4 billion people. and you put them on the same stage and say, go at it, negotiate. Are you with me?
Yes.
This is insanity of the highest order. How have we allowed this carnage to go on? When Eswatini is thrown in the same boxing ring with China and Eswatini collapses before Eswatini even gets on the stage, the world says, well, Eswatini, what's wrong with you? Why can't you take care of your people? Well, China came in and said, Eswatini, give me all your gold or else. And if Eswatini does not agree, they just go on next door to Lesotho and give Lesotho an extra $1. And if Lesotho doesn't take it, they just jump on to Togo, Central African Republic. It was all by design. 1884. They did something else in addition to chopping us up. They also set out to make the African believe that everything African was bad and undesirable, and everything Western, particularly French and British, was more desirable. We call that the legacy of colonization. Prior to that, they had started long working on the slaves. Make them think everything about them, forget anything about Africa. Where you come from is a horrible place, diseased and dying people, constantly at war with themselves, uncivilized. Cut out any communications with them. You need to just know what we tell you. And we call that the legacy of slavery. So that's where you look at where we are today. 135 years later, a system that was put in place to see to it that Africa and her children are forever defeated, that Africa is forever exploited, remains in place today, alive and well. And we sit here and we ask ourselves, why isn't Africa moving forward? Why does Africa continue to be taken advantage of? Well, I'll tell you why, very simply. Until Africa comes together as a continent speaking with one voice, one continent, one people, nothing, and I repeat, nothing is gonna change. As individual little African countries, we are wannabe boxers. We will never make it fighting against the heavyweights. We must speak with one voice. Yes. And this is exactly what our Pan-African leaders wanted to see happen in 1963 when they came together in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. They clearly stated that Africa for the Africans at home and abroad, and that African Union was now. They said Africa must speak with one voice. It is the only way for Africa to take its rightful place on the world stage. Sadly, when they went to Addis Ababa in 1963, they were divided. We had two factions, the Casablanca group and the Monrovia group. The Casablanca group were saying Africa for the Africans at home and abroad, and African Union now. This was...
Thank you. Good afternoon, viewers. Thank you very much for watching Punchline Africa TV This is MATSANGA Africa Perspective show. With me in the studio is none other than Miriam Ogutu. She has been making me stammer a bit, but I am on course now. I don't know why.
I'll take the blame.
Take the blame. We took off. I was thinking so hard on one or two things, but thank you very much. What has Africa achieved in 2019? That's what Miriam will take us through. My ears, my answers. That has said, I will answer. Let's begin with Kenya. Over to you, Miriam.
Yes, indeed. And I think the key highlight here in Kenya this year is what happened a couple of weeks ago. I think the launch of the BBI, of course, this culminated when the launch happened a couple of weeks ago. And before that, there was a lot of political upheaval across the country. And a lot of things happened. And this year, we've seen President Uhuru Kenyatta really upping his game in the fight against corruption. We see the CS for Treasury, Mr. Henry Rotich, is now facing some charges in court. I don't know when the case will end, but those are some just of the things that President Uhuru Kenyatta has been able to achieve, especially in his war against corruption. We've seen other mega corruptions come to the forefront from the beginning of this year, NHIF, and these are the scandals that has marred the public sector in this country. So those are just some of the things that we're going to look at today when we're looking at Kenya before we get to other countries.
Yes. So ask any question is on Kenya.
So in Kenya, so far, we've seen President Uhuru Kenyatta, like I mentioned there, this time really, he's been trying to walk the talk when it comes to fight against corruption. How would you rate his achievement so far?
So far, achievement 8 out of 10. That he has tried. He's the first man in the Kenyan history to send some people out of job. He has done it very effectively. Corruption, the war on corruption is still not over, but we have, together, the media, the people of Kenya, the whistleblowers, we have done a great job. 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
Yes, on the war on corruption. On the war against poverty, ignorance, disease, 7 out of 10. He has a few serious things to be done. One of the things that he has to done is to sack the ministers. Next year, Your Excellency, sack them. Create a small, manageable cabinet that can help you to get your legacy. The bigger the group, the more the confusion is. Get a few people, reduce it to the cabinet, to a level that will bring about harmony, working without political interests. This is your last legacy. You are not seeking an election. Today I'm speaking in parables, and the message, the vision is in me, because I see Kenya coming from the ashes of ICC stronger. But there is a problem. We have not decided. The president must take charge of the next year. The 2.5 years left, people have to go to jail. You have nobody else who will blame you, but Kenyans will give you kudos. If people have stolen, let them go. Narrow the cabinet, make a small cabinet, put it online. Yes, an economic fight, a legacy government. A government called a legacy cabinet. A unity government. A unity of purpose to deliver unity to Kenyans. That's not built about the bush. We are beaten about the bush for the whole year. And we cannot beat about again. Get the cabinet. They are not very good people in the cabinet. They are thieves. 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 They have stolen. And we are not singing a song against anybody. Like Mr. King Kaka. We are not singling out. We are saying Most of the people, very few in the cabinet have delivered. The rest have presided over corruption in their parastatals, corruption in their ministries, plunder in devolution. Next year, 2.5 years left, leave a legacy. Let's go Singapore style. Jesus arrived Jericho. He was walking on foot, healing people. If you look at the distance from the port of Capernaum towards Jericho, where Jesus was feeding over 5,000 people, over slices of 12 slices of assorted fish and the bread. He walked on foot. He was going to liberate the temple of his father. When he reached Jericho, he said, go and get me a donkey. Next year, Mr. President, ask for this donkey. Enter the kingdom of the temple of your father. Chase the gamblers, robbers, thieves. Chase them out of the temple. The temple remains clean. Hallelujah. Give it a credit. You have done very well. The first president to sack ministers. You need a legacy. Form a small, manageable legacy cabinet that can do work, lessen the expenditure. Lessen the expenditure. This is the end. This is the last Sunday for MATSANGA Africa Perspective. I'm giving the last words. I've done my best. I've done my best, Mr. President. I've supported the media voluntarily. Go ye. If you don't do that, you won't have a legacy. You need a legacy of unity. Live united Kenya. Form a cabinet of people who love you, not people who milk you.
Or who take advantage of their closeness to the president.
Yes.
And benefit themselves.
People who milk you every day. Parasite. Parasite. There are strangers who have arrived in the cabinet. There are strangers who have arrived in the government. There are strangers who came like in the book of the Lion and the Jewel. A photographer came and took photographs of a nice lady, put the pictures, and the one and the Mr. Lakunule lost. Don't allow those type of people. Get the Barokas. Hey, take the Barokas. Remove the surveyors. Remove the land surveyors. There are people who land survey. Carry them out. That's MATSANGA Africa Perspective 2019.
What, from the Ministry of Land or?
Whoever, they seem to have arrived.
Or from the Kenya Land Surveyor.
No, they're in all places, hotels, management, this, everywhere. Remove men who buy forks, cutlery, instead of building dams. I'm honest. Go ye. Make the cabinet a legacy government. What's my role? If I don't say what I cannot say here, I'm not dividing anybody. I'm saying the truth. Yes, we are coming. We are touching country by country. So be patient. We are going to finish 54 countries of events what happened in this continent of Africa. We are now on Kenya. BBI. BBI is a redemption strategy. It's a process, not a political process, a healing process where Kenyans have to heal. When you have a small cabinet, a legacy cabinet, you will implement the BBI effectively. Anything else?
Yeah, and still on
International relations, very good. That's 9 out of 10. You scored. And we shall help you to win the seat in the UN. That is coming. On Somalia, I think I don't need to talk much. Silent diplomacy has cracked the whip. ICJ might be the thing of the past. We might look at it 20 years to come. Why should it bother us? After all, the Indian Ocean could be dry very soon. With the way things are going, either it could flood to come for us. The rising waters, could flood come for us? It's true. You have seen the amount of water that has gone in Indian Ocean. If this is the water flowing all the way to Indian Ocean, the Indian Ocean one day could be higher than us and come for us with that wind sweeping. We don't know. So Somalia can continue looking for elusive boundary, but we have done them a blow. That small judge is gone. Don't worry. If he's still there by 20th of March, I'm coming for you. That small judge from ICJ who was threatening Kenyans.
And I saw him, I think he's done also presiding over the case that has been presented by the Gambia against the Myanmar government.
Another Somali man?
I think it's the same.
I am going. When I see that guy anywhere, on Gambia case, because, you know, he's there, I'm coming for him.
I saw him.
I told him not to handle any case. Let him just go. The guy has no credibility to handle a case in ICJ. He's a liar. He's corrupt. He divides the world instead of uniting the world through justice. I think I'll look at that. But for us, Kenya, international relations, yes, 9 out of 10. You have worked so well. Improve the interrelations. Talk to people. If you don't know something, don't assume you know. Djibouti should not defeat you. And don't underrate Djibouti. You saw the Djibouti 4th of December unveiling their candidature. My. It was massive.
Pomp and color, yes.
Yeah, pomp and color attended. And the Minister of Foreign Affairs, when we talk to you, we are not taking your job. Our role is to help voluntarily the President of Republic of Kenya. Hey, don't think we are coming for your jobs. We have, some of us are past the level of jobs. We are consultants. I'm a consultant. I can't go to fill an application to fight with Miriam. No, Miriam, this daughter here, and Miriam, the other daughter. I can't. I am now a consultant. I can't fill for an application for a job in the world. Whichever way, whichever angle, whether you throw me in Atlantic side or Pacific side or Africa side, I can't struggle for a job. At the age of 64, I'm supposed to relax and look after my grandchildren and give advice. Like the advice I'm giving now. Because the subject of political science is my subject. At the heart, conflict resolution. This is the guy. I can't. Wherever I stayed, I need a freedom ticket. Hallelujah. So don't take chances, Mr. President. You united this country. Take it home. People should not threaten you. You've done your level best. Internationally, you have done very well. Conferences in Kenya, 9 out of 10. Let's move anything judiciary. Don't forget Maraga is planning for a coup. And don't be deceived. There is a coup in offing. He's waiting there. He's waiting. Thinking that a small motion moved by. Whereas, aware. Mr. Maraga, get out. Get out. The judiciary in Kenya, Mr. President, 2020. The 2.5 years left, sir. Let there be invoke presidential powers. The treasury is an emergency. You can turn it into an emergency where the Chief Justice is not attending to the other arm. The other arm is dying of leprosy. Mukono imekufa for leprosy. Kaumpuli. This thing is dying. One arm of government is dying of leprosy. You can declare an emergency on it. Yeah. Something must be done on the judiciary. If you are to go through with the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta, treasury, get out. So Maraga is not up to date. He's a paranoid. Paranoid when he says he's not coming, it means he's not coming. Hey, Elida Maraga, please, at 69, forgive us who were born later. Let the world move on. Don't be annoyed. Don't derail the war on talking about judges tomorrow. We don't know. There is a ruling which Waititu had applied that he should step out of office once he's charged with any offense that is criminal. And he took the matter to the police, to the court, to the Court of Appeal. Let's see whether Justice Mumbi's ruling is set aside or it is reinforced. On the judges that have read better law or bad law are the ones who will set it aside. But surely you can't come back. You have stolen the money, the same money in the same department. Then you come to supervise. You could steal even more. So that is Kenya. So far, so good. And you have done very well, Your Excellency. Use the last remaining years to consolidate your gains and get your legacy moving home. Next,
are we done with the Kenyan matter?
Yes.
So do we go to South Africa and looked at two major things happened in that country, the elections that they had and also that madness we call xenophobia.
Xenophobia in South Africa this year gave us a very bad name. We looked like we were not Africans, yet we are Africans. We looked that we are not isolated. We are the only continent that is surrounded by water but very independent and a farm. The only continent where people forced to dig a way to pass via us. The only continent that has black people who were original blacks, and it is us. Why did we turn to kill our own brothers, Nigerians, Congolese, Mozambicans, Kenyans were beaten to death. Somali, they were killed in South Africa. Malema paid a lip service. I told people that Malema looks like he is part of the clique that is destabilizing South Africa. You can see cracks coming in his party, EFF.
But he was re-elected as the chief.
Re-elected unopposed. Slave politics. Have you ever heard of the word slave politics? Politics of slavery or slave politics. Politics of slaves.
I think we have that over here as well.
The master slave wins the party, nominates the secretary general, remains the boss. There is plenty in ODM.
A lot.
Yes, and all parties. There is one in Musalia Mudavadi. Musalia Mudavadi. Those are the pictures coming, killings of very many South Africans, Africans who were killed in
South Africa.
South Africa.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
But
Go ahead.
outside of that, also they had the elections, which were very successful, and which I think you've mentioned here time and time again. Perhaps the rest of Africa countries who have been having problems after their every general election perhaps should go to South Africa and just benchmark and see what is it they're doing that is they could copy, because we've seen South Africans, they have the elections and life just goes back to normal, and we've not seen anybody going to court and challenging any election results and things like that. So in that they got it very right. The electoral process, I think, should be a model that Africans should perhaps copy.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Electoral model is the best in Africa. South Africans voted yes, like they voted today. They are like a British. They voted, they went back to work. The rain, everything ran. They waited for results in the morning. Boris had won. We continued. Part of the problem that Kenya must tackle, and the President Uhuru must tackle. Forget, you see, one of the problems that Kenya has is bringing this Osapiti, the Supukem. Don't come. Supukem, stick to your soul, healing of your souls. You have too many problems within churches and the mosques. Let the president, we don't need more money, more time wasted collecting another group of so-called experts. You Kenyans have got this thing called expert. Who is expert?
Actually, I heard Olesapit say that the Archbishop for the Anglican Church of Kenya, he mentioned that now the president should appoint a new team of experts.
There is no expert here. Expert like a Kuro. If you are given an expert like a Kuro court, can you call him an expert? He's too young to be even an expert. A Kuro court is about 40 something. He's like a Murkomen. The behavior of a Kuro court is like a Murkomen. And all those things. So these are the experts you want to bring, and they do what? The same group refined, now they know the main thing on the BBI is elections. Don't beat about the bush. Don't tell the story of a department of happiness. Happiness what? Who can be happy? Who is going to be happy when there is no peace in the streets?
You're serious about this Department of Happiness? It
is there.
Supposed to be formed.
Hey.
Happiness and joy.
Oh, you didn't read?
No, you've been saying it. That
you didn't see it is in the BBI.
Department of Happiness.
Yeah, they have to create a day of happiness. It's on. I read it in the BBI.
They sat down all those 18 months and they had that in there.
Hey, it is there. So let's not go into this question of selecting.
Then Olesapit should be happy with that.
Olesapit, how can you preach to people who have not eaten?
But are happy, I suppose.
Who are not happy?
Oh Lord. Okay.
Yes. How will you preach to people who are not happy? You need to preach to a happiness, a happy congregation. A congregation comes to the church to seek solace. They should not leave the church more disorganized
than they came in.
Look, when a rich man comes in the church with huge money, and somebody has 80 children without school fees, what does he do? Even God will sympathize with you. So let's be very organized. So Africa has slave politics. And I'm sure my students, I can see very many of them have picked it here. Slave politics. And the politics of compensation. Because you come from Maiduguri in the north of Nigeria, you want to compensate because the Igbo were born in the southeast of Nigeria. Compensation. Buhari. Look at Buhari. Buhari is always compensating. He wants to compensate. Slaughter very many Igbos so that they equal the number with the Fulani. Politics of compensation. There you are. Thank you.
All right. So having finished with South Africa, the election.
So elections in Kenya are the most important thing that in the BBI you must look. Look at the South African model. It is called first, past, post. Yes? Ask me. First, past, the vote.
First, past the vote.
Yes.
Okay.
First, past the vote. I think I'll look out for it. It is, which is proportional representation. The proportional representation is in the number. You don't do that this count takes. No. What has killed Kenya? Again, let me tell you. Kenyans in this BBI remove the thing called presidential election. Let the highest number of MPs, so that it will encourage people to go back to reorganize their parties. You sell your party ideology. That is what is in South Africa. South Africans sell party ideology. They don't sell individuals. Even if you brought a dog to contest, literally speaking, please, to contest a seat under ANC as the president, the candidate for ANC, it will pass. Why? It has an ideology. The ANC has an ideology. CCM has an ideology. NRM has an ideology. I'm telling you, in Kenya, parties have no ideology.
I think
and that's where we have a problem. And that is why some of us thought people should go back to the drawing table on BBI to address the question of elections. It was not well addressed. It didn't come out the way we expected. I never wanted, don't mimic around chasing the commission. Even when you bring in an electoral commission without an electoral system, first past the post. That's it. Google it. First past the post. You will see. Very interesting. If Conservative has won its seats, the leader of Conservative Party becomes the president. You can give him the title. You go, Kenyans want the title so much. Give him. Let him form the government. Walai, you won't have trouble. But this thing of voting for the president, voila.
It has brought us a lot of trouble.
Come 2022, some of us who are not liked, we shall stand very far. If it is still there.
You'll be speaking from the fence.
Yes, talking from the fence is one of my blogs. Therefore, if I want to tell you not to lie, not to hear, I tell you right from the fence. I say I have told you. Have you seen the correlation, the connection? Sorry. The connection between elections, violence, and the parties. You can win with first the past post. First past the post. Clear. As you vote for MPs only, the number of MPs a party takes in a National Assembly of 290, the highest number of MPs of that party form a government. With their leader who was the leader of the party, that's Kenya will be stabilized. Nobody. Then whoever loses goes down to become opposition. With opposition car waiting, bodyguards waiting, waiting. It is not too much.
So will we need a prime minister in that regard?
You can call him a prime minister. You can do. You see, why just decide you can call, the guy can even be the president. And send somebody to parliament to be answering questions. You can call him the president. The highest number of votes becomes the president, send somebody to answer questions on his behalf. Rugunda in Kampala answers questions on behalf of Mr. Yoweri Gakuta Museveni. The general, the Fronasa guy. So, there you are. Let's move on, South Africa. Now, next
we go to Zimbabwe. And a few things happened this year outside of Mugabe's death, which I think brought Zimbabwe again back to the map of the world. But also we saw at the beginning of the year renewed sanctions by the United States. And also we saw UK refusing to write off some of the loans that it had said it will write off for Zimbabwe, as well as they refused to allow Zimbabwe back to, I think, Commonwealth. So yes, Zimbabwe. Let's start with the renewed sanctions by the United States.
They are useless. United States of America is crafting a law that will catch every African very soon. They are looking at the financial monitoring systems, international law, that they will be put in place in the United States statute, that any amount of money that you get of United States dollar, if you have been rumored to have, they will consider it laundered money. So they are changing the law. They are targeting African leaders who have gone too much to China and some other places. So we have a problem there. Sanctions on Zimbabwe should be lifted. There is nothing wrong. Zimbabwe has tried. The loser in elections in Zimbabwe has not conceded. He doesn't want to concede. He wants to call himself the winner. 2 years in the regime past, he's still calling himself the winner. So don't allow it to happen. Remove sanctions, allow Zimbabwe to sell its diamonds. They will not ask you for the money. Thank you.
All right.
One thing that struck me so hard is the death of my uncle, Robert Mugabe. That was the most outstanding thing that touched my heart. I flew to Harare and I went to Bare, at least to see the final sentences that people were making. I want to thank the people of Zimbabwe for having been resilient, for having stood against sanctions, for having supported Emerson Eddie Mnangagwa, for the time of the loss of our African hero. May his soul rest in peace. Baba, you have gone, but you have left me, your messenger. Baba, the spirit always roll down there and look at me. I am not giving up, Baba, until I liberate totally Zimbabwe from the sanctions that were imposed by the European Union and Britain. Baba, I have never forgiven those that have united and then they were destroyed by imperialism. Never forgiven those. You did one thing. You created wonders. You removed land from 4,000 Camacho farmers, Baba. Gave the land to people, 18 million Zimbabweans homeless in an areas of rainfall 80 to 90% centimeters arable land. 18 million blacks were left to share the rest of the land with animals, leopards, lions, hyenas. Baba, you did the great job. Baba, for African Union, Pan-Africanism, you became the centerpiece of Africanism. Pan-Africanism flourished. I remember the $1 million that you paid to for African Union to stand, to create, to run its business. Baba, you have the heart. May God hold your heart. May God hold your soul. Until we meet, Baba, thank you.
All right, and with that tribute, let's just move to Nigeria.
Controversial elections cancelled 1 hour before the polling stations. That Buhari is a letdown, 6.1 feet, yes, that's the proper English. Buhari is a letdown for Africa. Buhari butchers people. Buhari has dismembered Nigeria. Buhari has left Nigeria for terrorists. Buhari kills people in the south, murders the Igbo people, destroys their property. Buhari has not developed the south. Buhari still sells oil to Shell BP and the Shell, the Dutch one, and the Total oil. The people of Nigeria need unity, development. But Buhari has refused to develop Nigeria. Nigeria is the population of 200 million people, would be the basket of Africa. But it has become the handout of Africa. People live on handout, people live on nothing, people live in poverty. Those in the southeastern areas of oil-producing nations, states, purely the water is polluted, housing is very poor, disease rampant, roads zero. Buhari, oh Buhari, oh Buhari, oh Buhari, Buhari, give your people freedom. Sit down with the leaders of Namdi Khan and a group instead of calling them terrorists. Mandela was once called a terrorist, but today he went in the grave as a hero. Discuss with them. Find a solution for a better Nigeria. Oh Buhari, oh Buhari, oh Buhari.
And when you remind Buhari about what he should do right, I think the issue of Boko Haram, Dr. Buhari have left Boko Haram to thrive under his watch.
Boko Haram is thriving. Buhari promised us, oh Buhari, you promised us 100 days I will finish Boko Haram. Boko Haram, oh Buhari, has become the daily meat, the daily meal, the daily bread of the people of Maiduguri area. It has become the key, the trademark. They wake up in the morning, they find troops, they find kidnapped children, they find women raped, women killed, younger men taken away into captivity. Oh Buhari, oh Buhari, you don't do this to your own people. You have not given them the freedom of choice. They have asked for a negotiated settlement. They have asked for a referendum, oh Buhari. You don't give them even the referendum. What type of presidency? What legacy, oh Buhari? What legacy will you leave behind? Oh Buhari, that's exactly what life is. That's the life you have put Nigerians in. That's the life you have chosen. The man that you remember, the 1967 massacres under General Yakubu Gowon. You are one of the commanding officers. And you have remembered very well and come back to revisit. Oh, Buhari. Oh, Buhari. Conquer the Boko Haram. Ask African Union to give you help, like we have done in Somalia, oh, Buhari. Ask the United States of America to give you what you need to conquer these terrorists who are conquering, killing, maiming, torturing, raping our women in Maiduguri, in the north area of Nigeria. Oh, Buhari. May God help Nigeria.
But he refused to help, any help that even South Africa and the United States wanted to offer him to help fight Boko Haram. He's refused that help.
Yes, yes. Because he has a French program. Oh, Buhari, we know you. You must be a man of Total Oil. Yes. Most of the presidents who have overthrown governments in Nigeria have Total Oil, instigation on Total Oil. Look at the treatment that they have done on people. They are going to chop his hands off. Oh, Buhari. Oh, Buhari. Yes, 6.1 feet tall. Look, they are chopping off people's hands. Some of the pictures graphically are not very good.
Oh, that is disturbing.
Yes.
That is disturbing.
May God help Nigeria. Is this the Nigeria that, look at the whipping? We have gone back to a barbaric way of living. Oh, Buhari. Oh, Buhari. Oh, Buhari. Oh, Buhari. Yes, I'm a composer. You have forgotten. Oh, Buhari. Oh, Buhari. Oh, Buhari. Give the people the freedom. At least I'm not like a Bob Wine or King Kaka. I'm better off. I sing for Africa. Yes, sing for Africa. Amanda, thank you very much. It is so sad in Nigeria that younger men in the southeast and the other southern states of Nigeria are tied on cars and rolled through the streets of Onitsha, Enugu, Port Harcourt. Oh, Buhari. The killings are too much. The graphic pictures that we receive there from a daily basis, we can't show them here, Mr. Buhari. Oh, Buhari.
And the other day he said Boko Haram is technically defeated. I don't know what he even meant with technically defeated.
He has no technicality to defeat what technically be defeated. He's looking for another wife. Isn't it? He told us he wants to marry another wife.
And the first one refused.
Yes. They have stashed over $10 billion outside. They are in the United States making interest, while Nigeria is falling to pieces. This is the voice of Julius Kambarage Nyerere, calling all the way from Tanzania in that remote village where he is buried. Oh, Father, Nyerere, wake up. Look at Buhari. You recognize the Biafra. Obote, wake up. Jomo Kenyatta, wake up. Give the courage to the people of Biafra. Since Buhari can't unite them, give them a referendum to go. Don't kill the younger men and finish them. Oh, Buhari. Soon, in 2020, I will compose a song.
Good. I'll be your backup singer then.
Yes.
The background vocals.
Let's go.
Let's go to Somalia, and we've seen this year Somalia, war, the dispute between Kenya and Somalia intensify, the maritime dispute that, Doctor, you've handled, and I think you did a very good job on that.
Yes. Somalia, Mr. Faramijo, watch my lips. You lose this election. You are going to lose elections because I've told the MPs. I told you 3/4 of the MPs in Somalia, I am the one who filled the application forms in the United Kingdom. So trust me, Farmajo. Talk to other people. There was no need of this thing going to ICJ. We have lived together for thousands and thousands of years, millions, without anybody knowing there was oil. Who is forcing you to look for this oil in the Indian Ocean when you cannot look for one small AK-47 on the mainland? Why can't you utilize that money that you are looking for oil in the Indian Ocean to remove Al-Shabaab from Balidoa? Faramijo, I am very pleased that yesterday and 2 days ago, I saw my great friend Sharif Ahmed Sharif. He remembers me when I interviewed him in Mogadishu when he was the chairman of the revolution that had swept Mogadishu. I want to thank you, Sharif Ahmed Sharif, for the cooperation. Keep it up. Yes, Islamic courts. You are. I flew in Mogadishu with Lindsay of ITN Mama. We took your interview. Ahmed Sharif. Keep the struggle. Unite Africa. Somalia was the beacon of Africa. Most of the South African Zimbabweans had Somali passports. Somalia fought against apartheid. Somalia won a place in Africa. Siad Barre, long live. You went down, but you left a legacy. There are presidents on this continent who still hold your passport. Zuma holds a passport from Somalia. Several people in South Africa hold your passport. At least for us, oh yeah, Siad Barre, the only country where I am born does not ask for visa from Somali brothers. So whenever you see me, leave me alone. Yes, Uganda does not ask for visa from you. We are still working on that seriously. But above all, Farmajo, two things happened. You don't recognize Kenya's presence and how Kenya has helped to maintain peace in your country. Go back. Oh, Buhari. Oh, Farmajo. Join hands. Get your countries better. Thank you. On ICJ, I am looking for that small judge, Mr. Abdulakil Yusuf. Quit the place before 20th of March. If I find you there 1 hour more, I'm coming for you. You remember the video that I told you from Brussels? Remember what you did to that small lady? So please, just walk away. You never fight a fight with Dr. MATSANGA internationally and win. But you have done a very good thing. You are chosen to leave before we come for you. You can't sit in conflict of interest. This word conflict of interest,
it's very weighty.
It's weighty. In Kenya, some senators are going to represent crooks crooks.
Who will appear in this?
Yes, so-called massive riches. Sasa, where are they? The man had Land Rovers, tenders, what, car, has, what?
24 vehicles.
So, well, vehicles can be obtained in mechanically conditioned. Are they worth the road? Most of them were dying on the way. But it is where you can't tell people, I pickpocketed. Then what role motto are you giving to the children? Senators in Kenya go to court to prevent justice to flow. Oh, Senators Murkomen and Kilonzo Jr., what a shame to your education. I'm sorry.
You're forgetting their ringleader, my senator.
Orengo. No, Orengo, James has not returned my money. The money that I paid for your rent when the office was being auctioned by bailiffs. Return it. Yeah. And stop shouting my name on public rallies in Uhuru Park. Nyenye watu Africa, the problem you forget so easily. Even somebody has given you food like Mr. I like you, Wamutata. Wamutata, when he finds me, he puts his files down and greet me. At least that is very good respect for African man. To know that somebody once gave you a few dollars, $1,000 to feed your family. Give him respect. But don't see you have got a Mercedes-Benz now rolling. You forget politics of compensation. It has created Africa the way it is. Those who did not have shoes want to grab. Yeah, I did not have shoes. I was here thinking about other students having shoes. Tell us so. You see, these things of having shoes and no shoes grows with anger. You know, every time you see somebody, you see Governor Mutua now has said, inside the State House, he was threatened. And I swear, at this one, Mutua is not very far. Because if you have compensational politics of compensation, try to study it. It's very bad.
Okay. Do we go? Yes.
Politics of compensation. Mutua is not wrong. And that people are dismissing Mr. Mutua.
But he wrote a statement to the police.
Yes. Mutua, the threats, some of us get even worse threats. Mutua is lucky that he was told. But some of us, like me, have been sent the worst threats from the same source. The only thing I have not done is not to cry like a baby. But I have notified friends. They are aware. Hey. Every time I meet Dwale in the gym, I tell Dwale, what is your problem? What do you want from me? Then Dwale says, I didn't know this happens. I've sent him so many times. Stop these threats. They will land you. Now you see, there is a CCTV there. You can't say you did not threaten this man. He's got a clip. Mutua is not a joker. He's a Cobra
Squad.
Cobra Squad.
That used to be a show he was producing when he started.
CCTV in that building will finish people.
And that building is the State House.
You cannot say it is faulty, and neither will you go there. You also, when you go to those places, always behave. You people behave, you are statesmen. Don't go to this place to embarrass yourselves. There is Mr. Big Brother watching. And that for Mutua to take a decision, the Big Brother clips are available. I'm now speaking because I've already spoken to Mutua. This is real. Because Cobra, Mutua, you know, is a very good, I thought he was an actor. So I did not want to come into their problem. Mine are bigger than because me, I receive daily threats. For writing it something simple, they get the legacy trend. I am, mama. The type of threats and insults. Hey. Coming from floor number 3, 3rd floor somewhere. Luckily enough, I don't know. In the grace of God, I am here. So Mutua is not very far from the truth. Because I've cried to Dwale. And if I have a problem, I've told Dwale. Yeah. I found him and said, my friend, in the gym where we go, he was shocked, but later on he came back and said, yes. Said, please, there's nothing. I'm just a simple man who came, who helped. And I helped. My help did not go badly. Mutua is not very far from the truth. Now they have started.
It has to be the truth because he's even signed an affidavit to the police.
They have started now using their attacker dogs. Oh no, literally, I'm not saying they're dog. They are called attacker dogs, isn't it? Is that a bad language?
The ground soldiers.
Yes, ground soldiers to attack. Oh no, this Mutua is a cobra. No, Mutua is crying the truth. If you look at the body language, the pictures, if Mutua anakuangalia namna hivi anataka kukuuma, tena anaangalia bibi yako namna hivi, beautiful baby. That's why for me, let me not go there. You know what? I told the people, that place I stopped going there 4 years ago. Do you know why? Can I tell you the reason and tell Kenyans why I don't go for lunch? And those things? You find the people, they have given you your card, and your card talks about sitting arrangement D or sitting arrangement C. You find a lady whom you have never seen on planet Earth. She's seated in your chair. And for me, my father grew me in good manners. You don't want to see somebody embarrassed because you want a seat. The best thing is to choose and go and sit in the commons. In Nyeri, my seating was seated on. So I sat with the common. After all, the same rice they are going to eat is the same one I'm picking. So while I was seated there, hey, someone saw me there. Said, no. Go and bring that guy this way. So those who still go there must behave. Last week I told you the truth. That one, look here. Mutua, Kilonzo, not Kalonzo. Kalonzo, Waki, Mutula, You mean Iwaki did not tell Kalonzo that these people were on the list? Well, let's leave it there. Didn't they? I told you. So, we were on Somalia, which we have finished. Let's move on.
Yes.
Can I leave you to talk about this? Uganda.
It's just a highlight this year we saw, because Doctor has been telling us that the problem with the Ugandan opposition is because they do not know how to come together and just get one person to run against President Yoweri Museveni. So that has been the weakest point that has made them lose over and over again to President Yoweri Museveni. But this year we saw what we thought would be, or they came out and announced that is Mr. Besigye and Bobby Wine, among others, that they were going to work together. But after making that pronouncement, we've not seen any much development. So as even Uganda gears for its general elections next year, so we saw there a resemblance of some opposition announcing that they will now work together. But so far, we've not seen any progress. We've not seen any them coming together and saying, you know what, this is the person that you're going to back. So I don't understand this working together. What does it even look like? What are the structures? Who is the bearer or the flag bearer for the opposition, and which party will the person even vie from? They have not made that very clear, so we're just wondering, this coming together, what is it about?
Is what? You are saying Uganda. Uganda? Which Uganda? This one here? Yeah. Which opposition? Is there opposition in Uganda? Let's speak the truth. Is there an opposition in Uganda? No. An opposition that is an offspring of the same person, same system, same mentality, same unity, same food, same forest, only monkeys.
Same monkeys?
No, monkeys turn the colors. Oh, they say the same monkeys.
Except for a few, like...
There's no few. Not where?
The singer.
Singer came. Singer has been singing since 18.
To the president now.
Okay. So. He has been singing since 18. Did he ever sing a party song? No, he was praising.
So part of the system.
He's part of the system. Singer. Mao, part of the system. Besigye, part of the system. Mugisha Muntu, part of the system. Tell me which opposition is this? Where? Where?
Same forest, the same monkey.
Yes, Mr. Dr. Besigye was the doctor of President General Museveni.
Personal doctor.
Personal doctor became more personal. They have a personal issue to sort. I don't want to discuss it. A mature African guy, 64, older than Besigye. So I will not discuss that. Skip. Mugisha Muntu was a general who commanded when northern Uganda was falling to pieces. Why do you give him a vote? He commanded the troops. He never suggested peace. Let's talk the truth. Mao was an MP, a very hardcore NRM supporter. Even washing the legs.
Headliner.
Washing legs. This Mao you see here.
His foot massage is good.
Massaging.
Foot massage. So washing the legs.
So which opposition? Tell me. Tell me. The only opposition is some of us who have stayed, who brought them multipartyism. I can agree with Luchamuzi. Yes. 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 Luchamuzi brought multi-parties. We fought for parties to return when Besigye was issuing warrants of arrest for us, for Obote Baka forces to be finished in Luzira. Which opposition? There's no opposition in Uganda. President Museveni will win by 12 midday.
And
You want me to say more to annoy them?
And we shall be here to report about
Can I say more to annoy them? By midday, the guy would have guzzled the votes. He would not have stuffed. Can I tell you what? Up to today, the electoral reforms that were ordered by the Supreme Court have not been done. Now you tell me you are preparing for, that the opposition is preparing for election. Which one? Which one?
Bismarck is telling you, Doctor, today you are very crystal clear on your...
Very clear. I am not a party. And don't call me about Uganda. Oh, this, don't.
We're already done with Uganda.
Please,
Yes.
don't call me.
Yes.
I am not a party to a place which is not leveled. And I am not a party. I brought you peace, enjoy, drink the milk. Don't ask me for my blood. Stucky, crystal clear. I'm an international citizen. May God help that international system.
Okay.
But I don't want to take part to be misunderstood. I want, when I find Besigye, hello, how are you? When I find Museveni, hello, how are you? But my money for the peace process, I did the peace process. The EU was going to pay me. You said Rugunda and the Chambade to pay me. Sir, they never paid me. They ate it. I have never got that money. Riaka Macha is my witness. Chisano is my witness. Give me my money. But despite that, I will never go anywhere to create animosity for my fellow Ugandans. I lost the money. I lost dignity. I kept my nation. $342,000 money paid by European Union to be given to me. The president stood up and said, don't pay. Told Bazungu, they were in a meeting. All of us. I can play the tape back. Well played. Because the president and I know we are all rebels. We are all rebels. I'm a rebel. Also, he knows. From not here, from Tanzania, you know, we know each other. I have my recordings, my money. Riaka, I told Riaka, this money will not come. Chisano said I will come back to pick it myself. Naguno guaka, sinava kufuna kosentes. Not a single penny, bazivia. They ate it. That the president here, if he has not been hearing, I will not go to court, I will not do anything, I will not fight, but I will use the mouth to ask for it. Had I been somebody, a name which is not different, is different, I would have been paid. But now I can see Mr. Mugisha, Mr. Kamuntu Ephraim. We suffered together in exile with Ephraim Kamuntu. Is the Minister of Legal Affairs. I am going to ask for it. Maybe Ephraim can deliver, can say it. Rugunda, I have asked, you have failed me. Promises every day, every year, 11 years. You don't pay somebody who did a great job, not even a medal. A medal for ending the war. For ending the war. I never got a medal. And the medals are being given, dished to people. And even, what is it? Yeah. But all that, Mulinya lya Katonda n'omwana n'omwoyo mutukuvu, beera mu mirembe, Uganda must be peaceful. Above that, personal interest, my nation must be beautiful all the time. Nobody should ever use violence to attain power. That one I disagree. And if I find you plotting violence against Museveni, I'll report you. Yeah. So don't ever come to me to tell me anything stupid. Because I'll report. Not because of anything, because of my nation. I have that patriotism. But I was conned. My wife laughed at me when I landed at the airport. She started laughing for 6 minutes. Had she not been beautiful, I would have rejected her. But she's one of the most beautiful ladies. Yes, very beautiful. Thank you very much, madam. She laughed 6 minutes, 10. We almost got annoyed with each other. He said, why are you laughing? She laughed. She said, I told you, you will come back with nothing. After 4 years in the bush looking for this man to sign this, to bring peace, I went home with nothing. Rugunda, Chambade, they ate the money. Between them, they know who took the money. So let them tell the president who took that money. That there is a man in Nairobi who makes noise about the money every day, embarrasses the name. Where is the money? They have a unit in the state house. Why can this unit look for this money? Why? Why? It was not for free. I had worked for it, and the European Union was going to pay, because they are the people who gave me the letter, the mandate. This guy wakes up, as usual, his promise, no. Matsanga, we shall pay. Matsanga works so well. He's a Ugandan, we shall pay. I will always cry for two, that myself and that younger man, Labeja. We never got our money. If you kill us because of our money. But we have done nothing wrong. We brought peace. Never should you think there's anything else. We shall never do anything. We were not paid, Your Excellency. Someone took the money and they used your name to tell us that you have said we go and meet you.
Maybe that was the plan.
I don't want to suggest.
Maybe that was the plan. You go meet the president for a cup of tea.
Yeah, the tea had already, the test had failed. When they served me tea and I rotated, then when they reached my place, the bottle, the money went down for more. I said, no, I will not drink. Well, I have not, let's not talk about it here. I just need Mzee, Your Excellency, Mr. President, I don't have any problem. My money was not given to me. The people whom you told to give me the money are there. One is a minister of trade, commerce, called Chambade. The other one is the prime minister. The third one is Okello Oryem. They were in a meeting, closed door with me. They never paid me the money. So all these things of you calling me names, everything, injury on injury, I never received anything. And it was not your money, it was African Union and the European Union and the UN. Chisano came there 3 times, you never gave him the money. He's still alive in Maputo. Riaka is still eating rice and a mutton in Khartoum. You can ask him. Had Konyi killed me, where would my children be? And then people go on spoiling my name. You will never spoil my name as long as I'm alive. I will defend my name. I don't have much riches, but my name. You can't use somebody to that extent and then go and spread malice. Every president in Zimbabwe, you tell them Matsanga doesn't want to go home. I made friendship with some of these people long time ago. My friend. Mnangagwa cannot find me drowning in the river Zambezi and leave me. He would rather jump in. He's my friend. I never bought friendship. Yeah. And I don't discuss anything with him. Me, I discuss anybody who touches. Like now, Mr. Basic is preparing a petition. Your Excellency, look at these eyes. It is this man going to help you. Yeah, in ICC, they are planning. It is going there. It is this Matsanga. So pay him quickly. He's going to be on your side. On ICC, you take him 7 there, I'll defend him. Me, that's it. I'll defend you. Because I hate that institution. But they have got signatures now. They are ranging to 100,000 or 200. They have gone far. Silently, they have been signing. Here in the diaspora, I've seen so many, they should not lie to you. If your intelligence is not telling you, they are signing signatures, huge signatures. So, they are waiting. And they are being funded very highly by a very sophisticated system. I am telling you, if that is the case, I will be the first one. In fact, now, by the time the case reaches there, you know, the thing I hate is that court. If I had been in America, I would bomb it. America said, if you touch one American, the jet fighters will leave Washington and come. And the Besuta is shaking. Now he is coming. They have designed this thing, the petition. Have you read it of Uganda? Well organized the petition. And I said, never my name. Don't put me. I hate ICC. So don't bring it near me. If you ever call me and tell me or sign this, I will leave if you are near me. Don't. I can't sign it to take an African there. No way. You see that? For free. The information I'm giving you, Ugandan system, hear it. They are reaching big numbers. They have collected all signatures, London, everywhere. The papers are being signed with, with the document well organized, which no court can refuse. If Gambia can choose Burma, you tell me that they cannot choose you. So there is time when I'm going to be useful. For now, you might think I am useless, but I'm going to be useful for you, Mr. President, because I hate ICC. I will be on your side. So, fanya kitu uko. Tengeleza hiyo, my small thing, which was mine. Deliver it. There is a man there who loves me so much. His name is Ephraim Kamuntu. I call him my brother from Bushenyi. He's now a minister. That's the only man whom I can trust. The rest, they have lied to me. They have taken everything. 11 years. I tell you, my wife laughed at me. You know me, I don't hit women. I love them. Not hitting. 6-7 minutes, she's laughing. Tears came out of her. She said, excuse me? She said, David, turn again. What have you come with? Nothing. Petit, 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 petit. Pete. And here I am. The good thing that has helped me, the peace stands. Hey, had there been no peace, they would think it is me. Have you seen why I'm happy? I walk freely. I have no problem. Peace is holding. And Your Excellency, it will hold. Money or no money, it will hold. But I will never sign any form of ICC to indict you in ICC. So far, the entire diaspora, all of them, even those who enjoy, they come to Kampala, drink beer and return, they have signed. So, if they have not told you, I've given you a clue.
Okay, so while the peace in northern Uganda is holding, another place where peace has refused to hold and is quite elusive, that is in South Sudan. This year, we've seen 2 deadlines passed. That was in May and also May 12th and also in November 12th. And we've seen the peace deal refusing to materialize, Doctor, the events that has been South Sudan. And so far, now they're fighting over the boundaries. They refuse to agree on that. What is the future going into 2020? And just looking back at the year that was in South Sudan 2019.
You see, ladies and gentlemen, the situation in South Sudan is very chaotic. Very bad, to the extent of the words bad. Humanitarian catastrophe. Children are not going to school. No services to people, not hospitals working. No roads, no communication to some areas. Some areas there is banditry. Situation in South Sudan is not good. The best that I appeal to Dr. Riek Machar is, please, my brother elder, the biggest elder, please, avoid the United Nations tribunal. Please, sign this thing. Allow them to form a government, whatever format they form. Don't go to the tribunal, please. Because I hate tribunals. That's all. But as far as peace is concerned, it's elusive. It's a mirage.
Quite elusive, yes.
Yeah. Now we have gone back to the 10 states.
Apparently, that is what now the population in Sudan.
Yes,
South Sudan
because
wants.
People wanted to relate with other people. Most of the people near the Sudan border were relatives. You have cut them into 2. And yet the other ones on this other part have more. The other north have more. These ones have nothing. So they have gone back to the original Garanga plan, which Garanga had said must be a greater Sudan. Garanga wanted to win an election in a greater Sudan. That was his dream, to win an election throughout Port Said, Khartoum, Bahadel, Darfur, Juba, Nimri, all those places. He wanted to. He was going to win an election up to the border of Egypt. That was his vision of a united cosmopolitan Sudan. It would be a great country. There would be no hunger, no wars. It would have been the second South Africa with a rainbow country. That was his direction. That was the direction of John. May your soul rest in peace. John, you left orphans. You left some of us friends. That's why we struggle for that South Sudan to be peaceful. That's why we still speak with authority on your country. You had a vision for that country, but God took you too early. But one day there will be peace. But for now, Dr. Riek Machar, I am happy with the developments that took place when you are in Juba the last 1 week. And I want to take this opportunity to thank General Hamed Duglo, my good brother, Duglo. Thank you very much, General. Keep the peace process going. He came physically.
But he also came on behalf of his country to solve the problem in his own country as well.
Yes.
Juba,
no, that's okay, but he was there. He encouraged Riek.
Juba is a mediation center now.
You see, yeah.
And it's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Yes.
No, the problem with Salva Kiir is this. Salva Kiir has erred. He has given the Sudanese, Mr. Reinberger, to conduct his public international affairs. Mr. Reinberger will take you to the tribunal. I've told you and I've warned you for free. That's what he did to Ruto and Uhuru here. He took them to the ICC. With Ocampo, Hassan Omar. By the way, where is Hassan Omar? Senator. Do you see him anywhere?
I don't know.
The former senator of Mombasa.
He should be busy with other things.
We used to fight with Hassan, even on a plane. One day I would say we wanted the plane to go down. We came from The Hague. You ask Wako. You ask Senator Wako. He had to separate me. I said, this one here, you sit in a plane here, you are the one who wrote the names of Kenyatta and Ruto to be taken to The Hague. You are here, let's reach the Kenyan airspace. When we reached the Kenyan airspace, I stood up and Wako thought I was joking. Now we're in Kenyan airspace. Wacha tuende chini. Wewe, Hassan Omar, he remembers me for that. We came from Hague. Then we met at the Schiphol Airport. Hey, it was fire. I told Wako, it is because of you have respected you. This man here concocted a story in the Kenya human rights, destroyed the lives of his friends.
All right, and of course the much celebrated spiritual retreat that happened in April there, when the leaders and of South Sudan went to the Vatican, and something that made headlines across the globe when the Pope himself knelt down, as old as he is, and kissed their feet in trying to persuade these leaders to return home and see that peace prevails. But we've seen nothing much has been happening. But still, even after Riek Machar visiting Juba, they came out and said, the deadline that is in February 22nd, they'll make sure that they meet that deadline. That was an extension of 100 days after they failed to meet the deadline on 12th of November this year. That is last month. So let's just see what is happening. At this point, I think I'm not really optimistic, but I'm a bit I don't know, but let's just wait and see. We're just praying and hoping that, something much better will happen for the country and the people of South Sudan. And now also something happened that also took the headlines in Sudan, the neighboring of South Sudan. That is the ousting of Mr. Omar al-Bashir, who we talked about in the morning, will be spending the next 2 years in a facility. It looks like for the elderly or something like that. Apparently, according to Sudan laws, when you're over 70 years old, you cannot serve a jail term. So he was found to have been guilty of corruption and money laundering, and he'd been given 2 years for that, and so he cannot go to jail. And because of how Sudan laws are, he's an elderly, and when you're an elderly in Sudan, you don't go to jail. And so he will be somewhere, I think, much comfortable compared to where he has been since his ousting there in April. So the ousting of President Omar al-Bashir, Doctor, do you think it shook some political landscapes here in Africa, especially for a lot of presidents who have seem to have overstayed in power? We saw some jitters immediately after he was ousted.
Bashir. if you take Bashir, almost all the generals worked with him. So what will you do? You touch him, you touch all the generals.
All of them, yes.
Including the entire army. Some of the army were under his command. So putting him on trial on a coup, you are putting the generals who are in power on a coup.
And
so
that will jeopardize the
yes,
whole.
that will bring chaos. Let's move on. Former president of Mali, Toure, has returned home.
A former president of Mali?
Yes, breaking news. Just returned, touched down after 6 years in exile. Peace, handshake.
No, when is the next election?
Anytime. I think it is.
Is he vying, or he's just coming?
He was overthrown, I think.
To throw his weight on another candidate there, as we saw in Botswana.
Amadou Toure.
Yeah. Okay.
He was a good guy.
All right, Doctor, do we move swiftly to Cameroon? And we've seen on Friday in Cameroon Parliament, they were debating about the special status that they want to give to the Anglophone regions, the two Anglophone regions, the Northwest and Southwest region of Cameroon there, the Anglophone, the Ambazonia region in Cameroon there. And so I've seen something interesting that the leader of opposition, Mr. Maurice Kamto, came out and said that these regions don't need a special status, because you cannot give people a special status and yet they're not autonomous. If you want them to be free, let them go completely. Allow Ambazonians to just have their own way of life and their way of leadership as they are agitating for. So this move by the opposition leader, I don't know, will it change the dynamics? Will it perhaps open Paul Biya's eyes and see if now my own opposition here is telling me to let Ambazonians go? Perhaps that could be the right thing to do after the massive failure of the national dialogue. Remember, that happened at the end of September.
Two things happen in Cameroon. Ambazonians need a two states. That's it.
So two-state solution, nothing less.
There is nothing. Don't discuss. Don't try to quote the world. Give the Ambazonian a state. Full stop. You can go to heaven, even whisper to God, or to hell, burn a bit, come back, but give Ambazonians their state. Mr. Paul Biya, that's the only. America, I thank you. You listened to us. You took action. Some of these things happened after we had consistently this year. I bombarded all international. I wrote to American departments. I wrote to the British Commonwealth. I wrote to the Secretary General of Scotland. I've not given up. Some people in Kenya look at me, they think I talk about Kenya. No. I'm a Pan-African. My Pan-African Forum has written letters everywhere. They have spread everywhere. The good thing with me, I spread them. I spread it so that the people pick the letter and they read it, then they say, I think this guy has a point. Later on. Thank you. Two states solution. Forget your problem, Mr. B. That what? You give people
special status
whom you force. Why do you give them special status? They don't deserve status. They have their status already as a country. And the resolution 160108 of the United Nations General Assembly. Why do you give them special status again? They have it already. Just give them a state. There is no need of talking about Cameroon halfway. Give southern Cameroon, the Biafran, the Ambazonian people a state today. If you don't give them, Mr. Biya, you leave the planet, they will stay, one day they will get a state.
Well said. I will not even add anything
else.
You
can't, it is serious.
Yes.
Americans are coming, they have ordered him to remove troops. We are soon moving, Mr. Paul Biya, listen very carefully. We are soon moving to put a no-fly zone. Very shortly. We are nearing there. You don't see us in short-sleeved shirts here, and you think we don't work. You can have your suits with your wife wearing a wig of $1 million when Cameroonians are dying of hunger. Shame upon you. That first lady of Cameroon, my foot.
Chantel Bia.
Chantel what? Chantel
Bia.
which?
And she has her own, like you see the Tour de France, the cyclist, she has her own Tour de Chantel or something like that. She organizes every year.
These are people who borrowed manners from Philippines. Mm-hmm. She's like that Mugabe woman. Am I Mugabe? Mm-hmm. Am I Grace Mugabe? She destroyed the African heroes' record. Our hero was not a man to be contested upon. Oh, I am the wife. So what? You destroyed the hero's record.
Legacy.
A legacy. When? No, we still keep Mugabe. My friend, I went to bury Mugabe. I did not want to shout with colors like others were. I made sure that I go and bury my father, Mugabe. I went in Zimbabwe. I buried. I came back. I'm a happy man. When I arrived in London without money, when Mugabe heard that my house was going to be taken down, he sent money. The man where I am born had gongaed me. This word gonga is very bad now, because Mutua says the nani alimwambia atamugonga. They gongaed me, my own president. But this man told someone, please pay, give that. Oh no, give him money. That's President Mugabe. Give him, pay him. Let him solve his problem. After a week, after the laughter, my wife's laughter dried. We became people again. May his soul rest in peace. And I want to thank Emerson Mnangagwa for having introduced me to His Excellency, President Mugabe. I never disappointed you. I struggled for Zimbabwe sanctions in the European Union. I will struggle again next year. I want to go back to court, to American court, and file an application. I will fly into the American courts to file an application to challenge the legality of sanctions against Zimbabwe. I don't need a visa from any stupid embassy. I will fly. I have my 2 professors of international law, the ones I brought, you remember, on ICC. Mm-hmm. Yes. Those ones, we shall conquer this sanction. The good thing with the Western democracy is you can challenge them on their laws. There is no Justice Mwiru, who is now facing JSC right now as we speak, and she doesn't want cameras to come in. Wacha tuone. I'm going to call one of the members of to allow camera. Tunataka kujua aliiba pesa namna gani. Don't deny us entry. Sema next.
Next, I think we'll skip and go to Malawi, where this year Malawians went to their elections. That happened on the 21st of May this year. That later was followed by chaos and a lot of protests from the post-election protest there when President Peter Mutharika was re-elected in an election that was marred with a good number of election malpractice. That saw a court order being given, and before you know it, it was removed, and the president was sworn in. Very interesting events there that happened in regards to Malawi's election this year, Doctor.
Malawi is cast by Banda's departure. Kamuzi Banda. A smaller country with a smaller population, but very many thieves. All presidents, all of them from Joyce Banda, they all end up in a controversy of thieving. So it brings the question this year, which we have asked, does Africa need elections? That's all. Do we need elections in Africa? Look at the Malawi man, went to swear himself very late in the evening. Before the results can come. Do we need elections? The answer, Miriam, give it. Do we need elections in Africa? Are we mature enough?
I fear about the alternative, so I don't know.
Alternative is clan mixed hybrid. Traditional leaders and the new formats of high-flying blue suits.
But we need a national symbol of unity, that is the presidency.
Yes, you can select among them who is not a wizard.
Let's just bring it here in the Kenyan dynamics. That would not even work. You can get our person syndrome will not even let that take off.
It will not. Kenyans disagree on almost everything.
And they're very, we've used our ethnicity to divide us. So
they disagree on anything, and they can even destroy you on anything of nothing. They are very bad. When they unite, they kill you. Yes. You have seen the way now this Kaka music, the biggest group that has opposed it is now, it has made the other group disappear. You know, when the song came on Saturday, it was Hallelujah. You know that? But now another group from last night, the wave, we read the wave on the Kaka. You can see the balancing now. Some people are saying, by the way, so it's something, there's a point here which is not right. You know? Kenyans are operated that way. But they are very good people. You can live with them. They can't leave you hungry. Except some of them who have compensational politics. Yeah, that I lost this. Mozambique.
And of course, elections were held this year, and we saw also some drama there.
The Electoral Commission
coming out and say, as we only read the results, but we did not say that they were valid. That is what the Electoral Commission of Mozambique.
That is a recipe for disaster.
It's a recipe for disaster, and I'm sure some people somehow in the forest now regrouping.
Renamo.
Yes, and they were taken to court to challenge those election results. The opposition did.
Okay. Ethiopia.
We go to Ethiopia. And Doctor, I think last week I was here making this news, and you're busy, you're not present in the Good Morning Africa show. So Abiy Ahmed was receiving his Nobel Peace Prize in Oslo, Norway sometimes last week. And when he was doing that, there was some protests going outside the hall that he was receiving this Nobel Peace Prize. And what really struck me is part of the speech when he was giving this speech. Of course, he was receiving this Nobel Peace Prize after bringing peace between Ethiopia and Eritrea that has been warring for a very long period period of time. But while he was giving this speech, what struck me, Doctor, is when he came out and said, you know what, I commend my brother in peace and my comrade in peace, Isaias Afwerki, that is the president of Eritrea. And I thought that was very hypocritical, because as we speak right now, that border that apparently was opened is now closed. That peace that he was receiving a Nobel Peace Prize for is non-existence between Ethiopia and Eritrea. So was it very hypocritical for Abiy to stand there and speak about things that were really not true, commending Mr. Isaias Afwerki for being a peace comrade or something of the sort, which really on the ground things are different.
The worst mistake that Dr. Abiy Ahmed made was to talk to affairs. And I'm sorry, I am usually a peace lover, but the man in Eritrea is not worth mentioning, because he will never change his manners. From 1990, when we were in exile, 1989, I found them. 87, I found them, 89, 88, 89, 90, 91. We were together in the office. We used to work with Afwerki. But this is a guy who will never change his mindset once he's fixed. We used to have a pub in a place called Islington and Highbury, near this team that it folds every day. The team is called Arsenal.
Arsenal is a problem right now. You see what Ozis talked about.
Is it?
That got him in problem. In China, he criticized the way China is handling the Muslims population over there. So he criticized, and they were told the matches between Arsenal and the Man U that was supposed to be aired, it will not be aired in China because Ozil took a stand. But anyway.
Ozil?
Yeah, Ozil.
Yes, Ozil.
From Turkey.
Yeah, but Ozil is a Turkish, he comes from the Turkish Ottoman Empire. And the Ottoman Empire has never liked China. Some of the Ottoman Empire conquered parts of China. So they have that hatred for a long time from Turkey. So look,
Yes.
Isaias is not a man you can joke with. And I don't know how Eritreans live, but Abiy blew his own exit. He might not be able to sustain Ethiopia for a long time, because Afwerki is penetrating him, is paying back. Afwerki is playing politics of compensation after Zenawi left. Zenawi had managed to check him. Now he got a weaker point. He has penetrated there. It could be a very bad job, and it could bring chaos in the region. Let's pray it doesn't happen, that Ethiopia disintegrates to states, smaller states.
Because we've seen that agitation happen.
Yes.
There's a country here, Dr. I didn't put it here, but it's just something I read. And I think that day you're not present as well. The same day we're looking at the Ethiopian matter. Namibia, and right now the government wants to review its land reforms program, because 6% of the population that is Germans and the white South Africans are owing 70% of the total land in Namibia.
You didn't know?
6%. So now Namibia,
6% of the Namibian
population that consists of Germans and white South Africans. Yes. 70% of the land.
Yes.
Not even the Arab
That
land.
was exactly what was in
Zimbabwe.
Yes. 4,000 commercial farmers owned 80% of arable land in rainfall area A and B, 80 inches. The rest of the 18 million Africans are left to sleep, to guard themselves from lions, hyenas, leopards, monkeys, baboons, bobobo.
And Doctor, so while Namibia now wants to embark in these land reforms, what lessons can they learn from Zimbabweans and even South Africans who are trying to do the same?
First, the West is just going to put sanctions on them.
On Namibia.
Yes. Germany has already protested, because the biggest population there is Germany.
Germany, yes.
they must take cautious steps, because already the amount of money they have is not enough to sustain the economy of Namibia. Namibia is a very great country, a well-organized country, smart city, no garbage on the streets, people are disciplined. Now, the angle of indiscipline begins. Where does the angle of indiscipline begin? As we Africans within SWAPO start fighting each other. And that has killed all revolutionary parties. There are two factions that have sprung in the SWAPO, Southwest African People's Organization, SWAPO. Two factions have sprung, and these factions are fighting the Mujoma, the former president, and the new president, and the other one. There is a fight. The SWAPO is not united. It is created an opposition, a product similar to that of Morgan Changarai. So if Namibia is not careful, it could end up in a quagmire state, just as like Zimbabwe. Why? The formation of extra offsprings of SWAPO, forming another party that fights SWAPO, of having factions of ZANU-PF A, B, the Mnangagwa faction, the Gracie Mugabe faction, that weakened the party. And by the end, the demise of Emerson, President Mugabe, the removal of President Mugabe, things had reached a climax. What is happening in Southern Africa, SADC, is most countries are now reviewing what took place. Across in Botswana, you see President Khama wanting to return. He owns the military, he supervises the military, he could make a move. So we never know what 2020 could bring
to these countries. And these countries we'll be looking at. Remember, a lot of countries will be going to the elections next year here in Africa. So we'll keep you updated on all the latest. So we've been looking at some countries and how they've fared over, the 2019. And of course, we did not exhaust all the countries. So tomorrow we shall come back with a few countries that we did not get to look at today, including Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, a country like Botswana, among others. We have 54 states in Africa. So we just looked at a few. So between now and Thursday, we would have looked at all the countries here in the continent. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I want to thank you. If your country was not touched, how many have we touched?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 countries.
So we are left with 40 countries.
40 between now and Thursday.
And the Thursday we shall bring whatever we shall touch. We want to thank you very much. We want to thank Kenya. We shall continue with touching Kenya on every MATSANGA Africa Perspective. But we talk frankly, we want you to participate. We want to thank all the people who have taken part. We want to encourage people in Amazonia to seek a two-party state. Two states, not one. There is no one. Leave Mrs. Bia with her hair. Thank you.
See you tomorrow.